Hello friends, it's Nikki and welcome back to my messy bookshelf. Today's video is going to be a little bit different in that I am not talking about books specifically, but we are going to have a little bookish chat. And that is not something I normally do on my channel, but it is something that I've always wanted to do on my channel. And today's video is sort of a response video to two videos that I recently watched in the last couple of weeks. And this is going to be all about my booktube experience, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I came across the first video was Farrah from Bookstalgic, and she made a video called 3 Ways That Booktube Helped Me as a Shy Person. Now, Farrah herself was new to me, and her video popped up in my feed, and I thought that that was a really intriguing video because, I struggle with shyness and, being an introvert sometimes. So I watched her video and immediately subscribed because she is just a lovely person and so warm and just much more articulate than she thinks she is. And many of the things that she said in her video resonated with me. And then the second video I came across was from my friend Meli, who has quickly become one of my good booktube friends here on booktube. And this is Meli from Meli in the Margins. And she made a video giving her 6-month booktube update. She's had her channel for a little over 6 months, and she was sort of sharing her thoughts on her experience. And both of them made some excellent points that really resonated with me. And so I sort of wanted to discuss today because I always want to discuss these bookish topics. And, I realize I have a booktube channel, so I can do that here. So if you are interested in creating a channel or just interested in the behind the scenes, if you will, of having a booktube channel, then please continue watching. I will not be offended if you do not watch, but on to my thoughts here. I'm going to share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And because I want to end on a positive note, I am going to start with the ugly and end with the good, and then probably share some tips for anyone that is interested in starting a channel at the end. Tips, I am not a booktube expert, but some tips that I think are important for someone just starting on their booktube journey. So let's get into some of my thoughts. So as I said, I'm going to start with the ugly and work my way to the good here. So sharing some ugly things about what I have experienced and felt since I started my channel. One of the things that I think everyone probably deals with to some extent is self-consciousness. So and many readers are introverts or shy, maybe not both. I wouldn't say that I am the shyest person. I am somewhat shy. I am definitely an introvert, and I am definitely self-conscious about a lot of things about myself. So putting myself here on the internet has been terrifying. It was very terrifying to start, and even now I still struggle before I start filming, and I'll sit here and I sort of work myself up to be able to start recording whatever video that I'm doing. But self-consciousness with the way that I sound, I think a lot of people share this with not liking the sound of their own voice when they hear it on a recording or over a speaker or something like that. So that is something that I've had to deal with. My appearance as well. Something that both Farrah and Meli mentioned in their videos was being able to finally see what you look like when you're talking from different angles and what people see when you are talking to them. So this is not something we normally see because we don't normally talk to ourselves in a mirror, or at least most of us don't, I don't think. But that is something that I definitely struggled with, and I found it interesting. In Farrah's video, she mentioned it as sort of a positive thing, being able to see little things about yourself that you do that are, funny or, interesting. And Meli sort of mention being curious about what you look like when you are talking to other people. For myself, I've had a little bit of both. I realize I really do laugh a lot and smile. I am always grinning, but seeing your face from all angles when you're talking, it is not the same as looking in a mirror. I look very different to myself when I look in a mirror from my videos. So it has been something that I've had to get used to. That and my voice. Now, things have changed. I'm getting used to it and it's not so bad, but it can be sometimes. It can be, when you're looking at yourself on camera, you notice wrinkles you don't notice in the mirror, and you notice, oh, my face looks a lot rounder on camera than it does in the mirror, and things like that about your appearance. So, something else, imposter syndrome. I have not really told anyone in my real life that I have a channel because people get a little nasty when you tell them that you have a YouTube channel or a TikTok or whatever platform it is. And so, really, the only people that know that I have a channel are my husband, my kids, I think my sister, and my aunt. But, like, I don't tell friends or anybody that I have a channel because the one or two people that I have mentioned it to are like, "Oh, that's interesting. How cute. You have a channel." And it can be, a little bad for your self-esteem when you have people in your real life. So I will let them come across my channel on their own out in the wild. But that is something that I have struggled with, imposter syndrome, that I am in fact a booktuber. Yes, I actually have a channel, and I am not a fake YouTuber. I have a channel and I post videos. So that is something that I have had to come to terms with. Something else specifically for this platform has been intelligence. Intelligence and my education level. I am talking about books. A lot of the time, I'm talking about classic books. And there are people on here that have PhDs and all sorts of letters after their name that have similar channels, and I am just a layperson. In fact, I am a student right now, so it has been something that I have been self-conscious about. Why would people want to watch my videos when I am not, you know a professor? I am not someone in academia. I just really love books, and I always have. So that is something that I have had to get used to. And I know I mentioned with the self consciousness, I forgot to mention it when I talked about it. With the sound of my voice, I do have a slight speech impediment. So that has been something that it doesn't always come across in my videos, which I am glad about, but like in person. The other day, I was getting some work done on my car, and it took me like 30 seconds to say what I was trying to say because I had a minor stuttering fit when I was trying to talk to the person. So that does happen. Fortunately, I am usually able to edit things like that out, but I know that I still do stumble over words, I mumble, things like that. So for me, I think that these things about myself that bother me, and I think a lot of other people on YouTube can relate to this, that I think is the ugly part of this. But that is not all there is. So I'm going to move to the bad. This is not like the worst, this is just bad. So I have struggled with tech issues, and I think many of us can relate to that as well. So, uh, looking back at some of my videos, I, especially the early ones, forgetting to flip the camera, um, getting the wrong camera angle, trying to figure out what camera to use because I tried for a little bit to use my GoPro and I didn't like the wide angle of the lens, and just so many tech issues. Editing, I have learned a lot of things and I am still learning, and I think that I am getting better as the months progress. So, um, the camera thing, though, it really makes me laugh because I have looked back at a couple of videos and seen that I forgot to flip the camera when I was filming on my phone, which I have gone back to filming on my phone. Um, I typically wear a lot of a lot of t-shirts, like band t-shirts or nerdy t-shirts with sayings on them, and I normally hold up books, and when I don't flip the camera when I'm using my phone, it looks backwards to you. It looks fine to me, but it looks backwards to you. So, yeah, that is something that I have sort of cracked up about, but yeah, that's one of the bad things. You need to pay attention to those things. Um the audio. This is something my husband has been lecturing me about for ages. He's had a YouTube and Twitch thing going on for probably over a decade now, and he has mentioned many times that my audio is very poor. So he has given me one of his microphones, and I've started using it, and I actually see what he's talking about now, because you don't pick up so much on the things in my videos that I have had in the past. You can hear, you can't see right now, but I have a dog on either side of me on the floor right here. And one of my dogs likes to lick himself. They walk around, you can hear their footsteps walking. You can hear my daughter in the next room when she's playing or watching her tablet or whatever. So, things like that. I didn't think it was that important because I just wanted to talk about books. But now seeing the difference when I do use a microphone and that stuff doesn't get picked up as well, and you simply hear my voice, yeah, here we are. And then I know that with the editing as well, going back to this audio slash editing aspect, I don't put music in my videos, and that for me is a personal choice because I tried it before and the music was too loud. But personally, when I am watching YouTube videos, I am there to hear what the person is saying because I'm interested in what they have to say. So, me personally, I find it off putting in a lot of videos when I am watching, someone talk and then we move off to a bunch of music. And that's usually a thing in vlogs. It's not usually an issue in other videos, but for me, when I try to do a sort of vlog, I don't usually do that because I know a lot of people are listening in the, have the video playing in the background and things like that. So, some other things that I would class in the bad category are negative comments. It's going to happen. Thankfully, my channel is small enough that they are few and far between, but it's never nice. I think earlier on, I definitely found it to be way more horrible and, hurt my feelings, but I think that I've sort of moved on from that because honestly, there's going to be trolls no matter where you are. And I think that in this corner of Booktube, they are very few and far between. So, um, if there are negative comments, I'll either just leave it there and ignore it or I will delete it. So, it doesn't affect me now as much as it did before. So, that's why I didn't put it in the ugly category. The other thing I think that is pretty much in the bad category, I won't say it's in the ugly category, is unsubscribes. I've I've always struggled with the fact that sometimes I will gain 10, 20 subscribers in a day or two, and then I will lose one or two. And I don't know why. I didn't make any new videos, so did I say something that upset you? But I know YouTube sometimes unsubscribes people. Words. And also, I mean, if you're not feeling what I'm doing here, I mean, I'm not going to be offended if you unsubscribe. I mean, I would like for you to stay and talk and, talk about books with me, but I am not going to get offended about that. But sometimes I'm like, why? Why did I get 20 subscribers last night and then this morning I lost two? So just one of those things. It's one of those things, but it doesn't affect me nearly as much as the ugly stuff affects me. Um, I think I have some bullet points here. I am learning to keep some bullet points. Moving on, I think we're going to move on to the good now because I think the good far outweighs the bad and the ugly. So, moving on to the good, one of the things that I love about having created this channel was that I have become much more confident in many ways. The ugly stuff, I mean, it still does affect me from time to time, but I have become much more confident because I'm here to talk about books. So, yes, I want to be presentable, but I'm not here for a fashion show or a beauty pageant. So, the appearance, it is what it is. And I am learning to get over that. My voice, I mean, my voice is what it is. And I still have people in my life that love me and care about me despite the way my voice sounds. So, and people subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. So, obviously, maybe it's not nails on chalkboard like I thought it was. So, uh, becoming more confident. I am also learning now to branch out with the ugly stuff, especially feeling like I, had this imposter syndrome, like, what do people care about what you have to say about books? I am becoming more confident and making more videos, talking more at length about books. And that is what I initially came to this channel for. So, being more confident to make more videos. And for instance, this video, I have wanted to do some responses and some bookish chat videos, but I was like, who would want to watch that? But I'm doing it for myself as well as for any of you who are interested in watching. So I have become so much more confident. Um, Another thing is that my reading has expanded so much. Making friends across the platform, people who read in genres that I don't read a lot in, has pushed me to read things that I probably never would have read. I've also tackled some classics that I thought that I would never read. And I love that about this platform and this community. So, definitely a great, if you will. The community by far, hands down, is the best part. I came here because I wanted to make friends and talk to people about books and, have bookish chats because I don't have a whole lot of people in my personal life that enjoy books. And if they do, they don't always enjoy the same books, or they read one or two books a year and that's it. So we don't have a whole lot to talk about when it comes to books. So having this community and having people that actually watch my videos, I have some people that comment on almost every video or every video that I make. And that means a lot. That's why I am here. So that has been a wonderful experience. That has been a wonderful experience. I have made friends, um, to the point where now, off of Booktube, I have chatted with some people and, talk fairly regularly. And that is what I wanted. So the community, hands down, the best part. Other good stuff, creative expression. Being able to just create these videos, come up with video ideas, especially because I have so many video ideas that I have written down and been too self conscious. Again, the ugly. Self conscious to post or create. So now that I have gained a bit more confidence, I am going to start creating these videos because people will watch or they won't. But for me, it is a creative expression. And also, the editing, the thumbnails. That has been a lot of fun. It has been a lot of fun and a very creative way to spend my time. So, definitely a positive experience. Definitely good. And then finally, I would say feeling heard. And this is something that really resonated with me in Farrah's video. She mentioned it being weird to talk for minutes and minutes without being interrupted. If you are someone who is shy or introverted and you don't normally talk a lot in social settings, or you wait until other people have finished talking, it can be weird to talk for several minutes at a time without having someone interrupt you. And there are some people who love to talk, and they talk over people like us all the time in person. So that has been great, getting to actually talk without having someone either disregard what I'm saying or talk over me, or any of those things. um, for me, being someone who is an introvert and a bit shy, since I was a child, have been sort of a clown. That is how I deal with, and have always dealt with, being very awkward and shy in social situations. I was a little class clown. I was a clown in my career, and making people laugh, they listen and they laugh and they love it. But when talking about a serious topic or actually just trying to have a conversation, people interrupt you. They don't listen to your whole sentence, and it's kind of wild to me. So this channel has been a good way to express myself. So these are my thoughts, my good, bad, and ugly thoughts regarding my experience the last 2 years since I have been on Booktube. So I, you know, I wouldn't change it for the world. I think that the good things far outweigh all these negative things that I talked about in my bad and ugly categories. But um, that's it for my experience. If you are interested, if you are someone who has thought about creating a channel, I'll just share a couple of things that I think would be helpful to think about if you are thinking about creating your own channel. The first one that I have here, and some of these are not rocket science, just from personal experience. The first one I have here is, if you are thinking about starting a channel, don't wait, just do it. If you are waiting to get the perfect equipment and gear and audio equipment and editing software, don't wait. Just do it. Don't go spending all this money to start your channel. I know someone in my personal life who has been very intrigued, completely disregards. Oh, yeah, this is one of the few people who knows I have a channel in my real life. A family member of mine completely disregards the fact that I have a channel because it's not a monetized channel, and that is not something that I'm honestly even interested in. But are very intrigued by the fact that my husband has a bigger channel than mine, and has been obsessed with the idea of creating a channel, and has been buying things and doing all this stuff, and doesn't even know what they want to make a channel about. So if you have something you want to make a channel about, just make the channel, create the channel. People will listen, and you know, it it's about creating these videos that you want to create, not about becoming famous. And that sort of leads me to my next tip, and that is, if you're doing it to become a famous booktuber or a famous YouTuber, make money, just don't do it. I think that comes off as very disingenuous, and a lot of people can tell. And most people don't gain a ton of subscribers overnight. Some people are very fortunate and get a lot of subscribers very quickly, but the majority of people don't. So this is not going to be your next career. Don't quit your job and think that you're going to support yourself on a YouTube channel. So I just had to say it. I had to say it because, yes, this person that I know in my family is thinking they're going to create a career out of YouTube. And yeah. The next one is to make friends. I mean, I think the whole point is the creative expression and making friends who share similar interests as you. And it will inadvertently help to grow your channel if you make friends. If you make honest, true friends, you will grow. If you are just commenting on people's videos and saying, great video, I don't think that that leads to, discourse and a friendship. And that person's probably not going to go and watch your videos. So I think being genuine and genuinely seeking those connections is very important. So that, I will stop lecturing. And then the last one is to not be too scripted if you don't need to. Some people thrive on creating a script for their videos. I am someone who, if I have a script, I cannot. It doesn't come off as natural, and I am a not everyone is like this. And I know that maybe my quality suffers because of this, but I am a figure out what I want to talk about. Sometimes I will create bullet points, but a lot of the time I am a figure out what I want to talk about and hit record and just go. That is the kind of person that I am when it comes to YouTube. I am very organized in other aspects of my life. I don't know why with this. Maybe because for me it is a creative expression for myself, but if you don't have to, don't create a script and read a script. But if you need to, absolutely, by all means, do so. But yeah, those are just the little nuggets that I would offer to anyone who is thinking of starting a channel or who just started a channel. But these are all my thoughts, my little chat today, and I thank you so much if you actually made it to the end of this video, and I would love to hear what you have to say or if you've experienced any of this yourself. But I thank you so much, like I said, if you made it to the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care.